Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to episode 5. Today we are going to be dealing with clothing. We are also going to expand and prepare for our secondary residential area. So one of the things I was considering was getting a second sawmill so we can increase the production of planks. Let's deal wood for the king. Okay, so 100 wood. Yep, we can definitely do that. And we can give it away. There we go. You have to click, by the way, the quests in the bottom left hand side, otherwise they will not be completed and you will fail them. So remember, if you've got the resources, agree to do it and click on the button. Okay, so we have the new territory that we purchased in the previous episode, and what we are going to do is we're going to put in a couple of lumber camps, get them to literally cut down all the trees and deal with it that way for our new residential area. Now within our labour we could unlock some more, but let's go with clothing and stonemason hut. So first of all, clothing and stonemason hut we will also do over the course of this episode as well. So as you can see, you get a sheep farm, a weaver's hut and a tailor's workshop. You also need goods stalls, so you have to unlock both, because once you start making clothes you're able to add a additional market bench that allows you to then sell those clothes. So again, you need to unlock both so that you can do that. So we have all of these additional buildings now, so our sheep farm, our weaver's hut and our tailor's workshop, and all of those will give us what we need to be able to start the production of our own clothing. Now where to place it, I kind of thought about it and I thought we could put it up here at the very back corner, dump them down, but we already have an industrial area that is red, so I do change my mind and move it into a different locale. So what we do is we put it into the middle, and what I am going to do is I'm going to expand this hunting area. So expand the hunting area, there we go. And again, what we will do is then clear out, so we're going to add as well up here. Although there are no trees, it is worth increasing the size of the hunting area, but what we're going to do is get rid of these lumber camps because we're not going to need them. So destroy, and the other one destroy as well. So that's both of those lumber camps gone. The foresters camp, we can get rid of that as well. What we can do maybe later is rebuild it a bit further up so that we can reforest that corner to increase our hunting area. But again, let's increase all of this to hunting and fill out this whole corner so that we can be ensured that we are getting a fairly constant supply of meat. So again, just etching ever so slightly into our residential area, but that's fine because we're going to be expanding that as well. So the butchery, that can stay there. It seems to have no material impact on where the boars are. As long as the boars have forest, they will spawn. So now we need to go back to all of the buildings that we need to create our clothing. But before that, we need to create another residential area. And for that, you first of all want to cut down the trees. So we're going to put in 2 lumber camps. There we go, and build. So get rid of both of those. And then we need to paint the deforestation, so the extraction. So we're going to do a big circle for these 2 lumber camps to work on. There we go. Our builders will be squirreling away, beavering away to create those 2 lumber camps. They should auto-populate with the 6 people that we made unemployed, so we shouldn't even need to put any people to work there. That should happen automatically. Okay, so next up we want to go to our goods production and we want to put in our sheep farm. So where are we going to put it? There we go. See, the workers are automatically assigning themselves, so we have 3 workers assigned. Lovely stuff. And they will start cutting down the trees, and then all that wood can go into storage. Now later on we're going to need to obviously put a warehouse for that wood to be stored in and other bits and pieces. But I still couldn't make up my mind where I wanted to put this sheep farm. And the other thing is as well, the border of the territory that we've purchased isn't easy to define when you've got such thick forestry. In fact, I start playing around with the camera just to get pretty much a bird's eye view to see if I can see it, but I decided that we would put it over to hit the right hand side of our original territory because again we've got a large industrial area anyway. The weaver's hut has no red circle, so we can put that close to residential without any worries. Just deciding where to put it. Yeah, we could put it up next to the sheep farm. There we go. So the resource deployment is quite quick. And again, the tailor's workshop. Let's line that up with this path here and put that in there. There we go. So that's now everything that we need to start creating our own clothing. Now what I will do is I will skip forwards and cut out the middle chunk of this footage just so you can see some progress. And again, the episode only runs to about 13 minutes. So we've got our 2 lumber camps working away already. Lovely stuff. Let's adjust our camera angle, skip forwards. And of course the other thing that we need to do now is edit building, and we need to go to a market stalls court, and we need to add a goods stall. So let's get a goods stall put in. I think down in this corner would probably be a good idea, but we might need to delete that bush. The decorative bush. Yeah, let's put it in there. I think that's going to work. What we could actually do is start adding more market tents over the top of the stands. So let's add one over there maybe. Just paying attention to the colour. You want it to be variated. So there we go. One of those, one of those. We've already got blue, so let's put another grey next to that. And that looks pretty good. So get that built. And again, we'll be producing cloth and clothing. So as we produce the cloth, we'll be able to use that to finish those market stalls. Again, we need a couple of people to work as weavers, but we don't have any commoners left. So we need to do some more promotions. We've got 9 people unemployed, so that's fine. We've got 230 coins. So let's just do, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're just going to promote all 8 of them to commoners. Okay, there we go. So 2 for there. That's still being built. So just wait, it's nearly there. There we go. And again, that needs a commoner. So that's used 3 of the 8 that we promoted. But it does mean we have plenty on standby that we can use for additional constructions as this series progresses. Okay, waiting for workers. Come on, don't abuse. So once you click a certain number of sheep, it does say, come on, don't abuse, because it has no impact on the amount of material that is made from the sheep farm. And of course we've got our weaver's hut that will produce the cloth. The cloth goes to the tailor, and the tailor turns it into common clothing. Now the debate I had with myself was, do I want to put in a second sheep farm? It was a small debate I had with myself just to maybe produce some extra resources. Let's go and put this warehouse over here, but not too far into the forest. So it's cutting off a bit of the farming area, but that's fine. And build, because we obviously want to store some additional resources in here from the cloth making. So you need to store cloth, you need to store wool, and you also need to store common clothing. Now the market is still being built, but of course we're missing 15 cloth, so it's going to be quite a while before this will be finished. But by the time we have another market splendor thing, so a celebration in the village, it should go much better because it all looks much nicer. We can also maybe put in some extra decorative items just to increase the overall splendor of the village. Now, as you can see, the trees are starting to be cut down. It's going to take a while before it's all been done, but again, let's just increase the size of the area a little bit more. Come down here and let's just chop all these trees down. There we go. Now the ones that are in the middle of the village and everything else, I still think that looks fairly nice. We don't need to deforest it. We've got a couple of additional people for the village. Lovely. Our population is now up to 83, so we're not far off, which means we also probably need to improve the church over the course of this episode. So stonemason's hut, again, a new building to create polished stone, and we can put that very near to our stone itself. So that red ring doesn't affect that nice housing. and is within our industrial centre. So that's, again, it's all completely fine. Get that put in, and that should be constructed in the not too distant future. But now we need to assign resources. So polished stone, common clothing, wool, and finally cloth. Find it in the end, but just having a look at everything else. But we do want to assign cloth because I don't believe we've assigned cloth anywhere else. I mean, it can be stored in the weaver's hut anyway, so we'll go back at a later point in time and get that cloth allocated, because to be fair, it's all going to be disappearing fairly quickly anyway. Again, resources missing, 5 cloth, so we do need to wait for a lot of it to be produced, and of course the tailor is waiting for cloth as well. So we've got 2 out of 30 wool. They haven't made any cloth yet, but they can store 50. So before we get 50, then we need to add somewhere to store it. Okay, so there's our warehouse. There's cloth. Might as well allocate it now, ahead of time. Makes no difference. And again, we've got missing raw materials. Yes, of course we have, because we've only just built the sheep farm. We built all 3 buildings at the same time, so now we just need to wait for them to actually produce resources. But again, there we go. We have achieved another milestone for our early village. Our population is approaching 100. We're expanding our residential centre to include a second market and another residential area that we will fill out and flush out with everything that is needed. And eventually we'll start creating additional industrial centres, but for the time being, our flourishing village is beginning to get there. In fact, we're now at a population of 84, which is not bad. And of course, we have our fully functioning tavern now as well. But let's get back to what I was talking about. Our church has a capacity of 90, and we're at 84 people. So it's probably worth bunging on a couple of extra alcoves just to increase the capacity limit for the church, because it is still fairly centrally located. So let's add some additional components before we finish off today's episode. So there we go. Wooden chapel windowed or wooden chapel inclined. Let's throw a couple of these on. There we go. Put one there maybe, and maybe a couple at the back. One on the side. We could put it at the side. Yeah, that looks quite cool. Again, once the buildings are finished, you can actually see what you're doing, which is quite good. Yeah, another one there. One more. Get it done, and that's enough for today's episode. Or as always, all it leaves me to say, of course, is good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and from me, Know It All Gaming, good night, and see you on the next episode.